So hello everyone. Everyone knows me now because of the video. And I know that everyone here is a professional in what they're doing. They're trying to make a good impact on the refugee experience in Canada, especially in London. But for me, the whole thing is something really personal because I'm not a professional in anything. I'm just a young, well, I'm hoping. I'm just a young person who moved here with her family and saw how other, especially teenagers, are struggling with fitting in. So the topic that I was asked to talk about is intergenerational conflict, which is a big word for the fights between parents and children. Being a teenager is already a task by itself. Everything is going crazy in your mind, in your body. Everything is just hard to do. Life is hard to deal with, and when you have a new country to get used to, a new environment, a new culture, everything becomes just as much harder. And your parents are not really able to help you with anything because they themselves are getting used to the new country as well. They don't understand what you're going through, and you have no idea what problems are going through their minds for you, for themselves. If it's hard for children and teenagers, I can say that it's much more difficult for their parents because they have lost the authority that they have. They are not independent anymore. Sometimes they're even dependent on their children, younger children, an 8-year-old for communicating with people, for just talking. I'm not a parent, of course, but I can tell that it must be really difficult to lose the ability to control your children, to go through life with feeling like you're adequate. And I think that it's important for both parents and children to have a better sense of communication, to talk to each other more. And unfortunately, children have to grow up faster. They have to be mature. They have to try to understand their parents' point of view, although they are themselves struggling with so many things that I can't even imagine because I wasn't here as a teenager. But I can see my sister, who's 17 years old, and she's trying really hard to find a sense of belonging in a new community. And I can see her struggle, and I can see my parents struggle to deal with her problems, with the new things that she has no idea how to deal with. But I can see my parents struggle to help her as well, although they have no idea how to. And I'm kind of in between these two, and I'm trying to take their words to my sister and take my sister's word to my parents. I'm trying to make them understand each other because I'm not a teenager anymore, but I'm not an adult. Exactly. I understand both parties. I know what they're going through. So I'm always the person who my parents tell me to talk to my sister, talk to her. She will listen to you. She is not listening to us anymore. So I became this, I'm no longer her sister or a friend. I'm kind of between roles of a mother, sister, friend, counselor. Everything kind of depends on what I'm going to do with her. And it's a real task. It's a real task because I wanted to stay her sister. I wanted to be a friend. But now I have to be this role model so I'm not allowed to make mistakes because then she's going to look up to me and she's going to make the same mistakes. And I can't really be that friendly or do naughty things with her, be a young person because I know that my parents are looking at me to be a really good role model because they are no longer able to help her with anything. And I know that a lot of other teenagers at her school, from the stories that she shares with me, are struggling with the same thing. Their parents don't understand what they want to do. They want to do something very different with their lives than their parents expected them to do. Because most parents think that we'll move to Canada for our children because our lives were back home. It was really good. We had friends, relatives, and they probably had a good home, cars, everything financially stable. So they moved here for their children. And now their children are being rebellious. They're not doing what they're supposed to do. They're kind of disappointing their parents. But at the same time, they think maybe they're doing the right thing because they have the freedom to choose whatever they want to do. That's why I think that there should be some sort of organization to make parents and children understand each other much better, because right now things are not going so well. I know that families moved back to their countries despite all the problems they had, or moved to another country just to take control of their children, because the children weren't acting like they're supposed to according to their culture, because parents couldn't accept that my child doesn't want to be an engineer, doesn't want to achieve like top academic goals, which is why I moved here. I don't know, like, this is pointless, I'm going back. And parents are feeling like they sacrificed everything for their children. Now children are just being not grateful. And that's why I think there should be organizations, maybe school counselors should be able to make children and parents communicate on better terms to really understand each other. So, well, they both have to make sacrifices. They have to step down from what they really maybe want. Children have to be more mature. They have to understand their parents' viewpoints, that they really, really gave up everything to be here, some of them, for their children. And parents should understand that this is a new country, this is a whole new culture, and their children are growing up in a very different environment from what they grew up, and it's just natural that they want different things, that their values are changing now. And parents should unfortunately be okay with that and just support their children to achieve their highest potential. That's what I think should happen. But of course, I believe that children have to be understanding of what their parents are going through, be helpful, and be more mature. So that's all.